Good afternoon. Period 5, AP Statistics. This is one of two videos for today, Friday. I'm not here. The cross-country team is in Peoria. And so let's just finish up the handout we were doing yesterday. It is part 3 of 4. And wow, that glare is pretty strong. Here, let me tilt it down a little bit, see if that'll work. Now, we finished up this page, and where we want to pick it up is on problem 40. So open your notes to problem 40, more IQs. And it says, in the normal model, same one we've been working with, 100, 16, what cutoff value bounds the highest 5% of all IQs? So the model for this one is going to have 4 numbers, like the other one. Let's label it N100, 16. Title is IQ scores. The mean is 100. We don't know the cutoff, but they're giving us the answer. The answer is highest 5% of all IQs. So let's mark off the top 0.05, the top 5%, and acknowledge that we don't know the cutoff value. So just write x equals blank. We don't know the z-score that corresponds to the cutoff value. How high does your IQ have to be in the highest 5%? Well, it's got to be at least x. So we're going to have to solve for x. And to get x, we're also going to have to use z. Keep in mind what we have access to. We have access to a formula in mechanics, the one we've been using all week. Z equals x minus mu over sigma. And we need a z-score. We know mu and sigma, but we don't know x. We can find z using inverse normal. Remember that z-scores can be found by taking inverse normal of the left area. Unfortunately, we don't have the left area. They gave us the right area, but we can find the left area by subtraction. So take out your calculator, see if you can figure out what number to plug into inverse normal. And it's not that one. It's a little bit bigger so you can see it. We went to the distribution menu, picked up item 3. The left area for a right area of 0.05 is going to be 1 minus 0.05 or 0.95. So by typing in the inverse normal of 0.95, we have a z-score of 1.645. Let's add that to the model. For the z-score, it came from inverse normal. In fact, if you happen to not be watching, I've got it right here. Inverse normal of 1.645. That does the trick. Get back where it belongs. So fill this in right down here. Z equals 1.645. And then we're going to use that in mechanics. Z equals 1.645 equals x is unknown, mu is known to be 100, sigma is 16. This is the point at which we realize we have to do some algebra. We have to multiply both sides by 16 and add 100 to solve this equation for x. M16, multiply both sides by 16, A100. I would just do it on the calculator. In fact, we can continue from what we did before. Multiply both sides by 16, just press times 16, add 100. We just found the cutoff value. You need to have an IQ of about 126 to be in the top 5%. So 126 does it. X equals 126. We're going to carry it over. Here's our fourth number, 126. Kind of hard to see in yellow. There it is in blue. So conclusion, according to the normal model, in case you can't see that. It says, according to the normal model, just like all the other ones, the highest 5% of scores are above 126 IQ points. So here we go, above 126 IQ points. So we had learned yesterday the inverse normal command. Now we see how the inverse normal command actually comes into play when we're using model, mechanics, conclusion. Okay, here we go. Let's move on to the next problem. We're going to skip part B. I mean, you got the idea. Part B. If you ever, by the way, if you ever want to go and fill in notes, maybe you're absent. I do have period 5 stats, same for period 6. Just go to general resources. I've got all the unit 2 fill in the blanks for the notes. So here's the entire document for all of unit 2. Check that out. Everything's filled in like lots of detail, shades typed. Wow, look at that. Middle 80% of all IQs, one we just did, is right there, highest 5%. So that's what it looks like if you were to go to U2, not the music group, but the unit 2. So all the filled in notes are online. Can't believe I told you that. Now, let's skip the middle 80%. And actually, no, let's do the middle 80% of all IQs. And yeah, this is period 6. Did I say at the beginning of this video that it's only for period 5? I hope not. Okay, it's kind of late at night. So period 6 is the only class that really needs to be watching this one. And all right, here we go. So let's get the middle 80%. This will be a challenge problem for you. It's still a mean of 100 and 100, 16. We got 2 cutoffs. It's symmetric in here. We need 80% shaded. So the other 20%, better to write just 0.8. 0, 0, 0. So this middle 80% is shaded. What are the cutoffs? X equals, Z equals. For the top of the shaded region, what are the cutoffs? X equals, Z equals for the left-hand side of this shaded region. Well, to find that out, I mean, we could find either this Z or that Z. It doesn't matter which one, because they're opposites of each other due to symmetry. So, how about I pick this one? In fact, I could even call it Z sub R, the Z score on the right of the shaded region. This Z score would be called Z sub L, Z score on the left. So to find in purple Z sub R, this doesn't count as work, but Z sub R would be found using inverse normal. Now, pause the camera for a second while you think about what number you would type into the calculator for inverse normal. So just go ahead and pause that and come back when you're done. Okay, here's the thinking. It's 0.9, by the way. The left area for ZR is 0.9. Why? Because you have 80% in the middle. The other 20% is split in half. 10% on the right tail, 10% on the left. So if we've got 0.10, 0.10, the area that's to the left of this Z-score is 0.8 plus 0.10 is 0.9. So we're going to do an inverse normal of 0.9. Here's how we roll with that. Inverse normal 0.9 gives us a Z-score on the right of 1.281. 1.281. That means the Z-score on the left is negative 1.281 by symmetry. And we can go to mechanics to find the X value. So please join me in writing Z equals X minus mu over sigma using a Z-score of 1.281. We're solving for X when mu is 100 and sigma is 16. Go ahead and do, once again, the multiply by 16, add 100 routine. See if you can beat me to it. Multiply by 16, add 100, found it, 120.5. So we'll call it 121. So it's got to be about 121. X is approximately 121, so that means if your IQ score is anywhere from, instead of adding 21 to 100 by 73, I've got to subtract 21 to get 79. So if your IQ score is anywhere from 79 to 121, then you're in the middle 80%. So let's fill in our conclusion. The middle 80% of IQ scores is expected to be between 79 points and 121 points. Next page. So far we're at 10 minutes, 41 seconds. IQ this. All right, what IQ represents the 15th percentile? Let's draw a picture of this. IQ scores. Let's get the title. 100, 16. Four numbers are 100 in the middle. The 15th percentile is the score below which 15% of the scores lie. So we don't know what the 15th percentile is, but we know the area of the shaded region is 0.15. That's a 0.15 right there. So we don't know X, we don't know Z. Go ahead and use inverse normal to find the Z score that corresponds to the cutoff that's considered to be the 15th percentile. This one's not too bad because we're given the left area. The left area is 0.15. So the Z-score there is negative. We expected it to be negative. Negative 1.036. So we're talking negative 1.036. And then go ahead and pause the camera while we find mechanics. I'll do it, then we'll talk through it. So here we go. Once again, we're going to multiply by 16 at 100. And calculator does that pretty quickly. Times 16, enter. Plus 100, enter. We're at an IQ score of 83. So I guess that wraps it up. X is 83. You solve for X. According to the normal model, 15th percentile of IQ scores is about 83 points. This means that we what's that? Okay, how are the blanks being filled in? I don't know. So let's just take a look at this. So that means that, see, here it is. Next page. This means that we expect 15% of IQ scores to be lower than 83.4 points. Yep, that's what they had in mind. So the answer was 83.4. Now, back to this. We could do the same thing again for the 98th percentile. Let's just practice. Let's take a look at what kind of people are actually writing these problems. Look at part C. What are they asking? They're saying, what is the IQR of the IQs? Really? What is the IQR of the IQs? You're just trying to sound, you're just trying to talk in such a way that you're hoping no one will understand what you're saying. The IQR of the IQs, so clever. The authors of our textbook, by the way, are named Bach, Velleman, and DeVoe. It's probably Bach that came up with that one. And we can find it. It's really not that too hard. It's not too hard because we can find the IQR. The IQR is the distance from the 25th percentile. So we've got X at the 25th percentile. And so we got 25% in the left tail. And then 50% between the quartiles. Here's Q1. This is Q1 right here, Q3, that's the middle 50%. So there's a cutoff here, Z sub left, Z sub right. So there's 25% in the upper tail. Yeah, it's no problem. We could find the IQR, which is Q3 minus Q1, by simply finding Q3, which is this X value. If you want to find this Z-score right here, I recommend typing in inverse normal of 0.75, because Q3 is the 75th percentile. You could type in inverse normal of 0.25 to find Z left, then use mechanics to find the corresponding values of X and subtract. So just wanted to talk through that. That's a big idea. We are done. We are done with part 3 of 4. Now you have to watch one more video. If you're in period 6, you gotta watch one more video, and that is the part 4 of 4 video. So while we're changing over the new video, if you are the live sub in the room, thank you, by the way, for serving today. Appreciate that. Just put the handouts that say this. The handout that says part 4 of 4, which actually, it might be right here. Yeah, so the standard deviation is a ruler. The part 4 of 4 handout, just put that handout up on the table, and any students who want paper notes can go and get it. Okay, so let's now switch over to the other video for period 6. That's part 2 of 2. Thanks for coming today. See you in about a minute.